Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today in our program, The Atheist Centre, Unbound by Cages, written by Jim Herrick's, I am going to continue the chapter Positive Atheism Comes Alive. It is no surprise that Gora was involved in the library movement. He felt that illiteracy was a huge problem and that public libraries could help it. Adult education could help the development of the literacy and reasoning. He thought that a civic sense and understanding of the scientific temper would be essential to India's future. Atheist study camps were held, developing education, both practical skills and learning. Gora and Saraswati were very concerned with women's development and assistance to wives who were abused. Vasavya Mahila Mandali was started in 1965 to enable women to obtain skills and self-reliance. Vasavya stands for Vastavikata, Sangadrushti and Viktitvam, reality, social outlook and individuality. It was registered 10 years later in 1975 and has done much more for the upliftment of women. In his later years, Gora became involved in international atheism. He was able to inspire a quite new audience and people from around the world and discovered the powerful thrust of atheism in Vijayawada. The root of conflict was nationalism in Gora's view, and he saw direct international contacts as a way of breaking down national boundaries. He was a keen supporter of the international language of Esperanto, but his activities were cut short in 1975 when he collapsed from a heart attack and brain hemorrhage while delivering a public address. He was cremated and an enormous number of people paid homage to him at the cremation where the funeral pyre was lit by an untouchable. He was acclaimed as a great reformer, an orator, a man of good humor who could make friends of those with whom he disagreed. Proclaimed at the condolence meeting, "Let us rededicate ourselves to the cause." That dedication was followed with the success of the Atheist Centre to the present day. As Dr. Sunanda Sheth points out in Gora, his life and work, the Atheist Centre was to continue and flourish beyond Gora's death for three reasons: the force and strength of his wife Saraswati, the ability and determination of his children, and the links with the international humanist movement. A planned seminar took place at the Atheist Centre within 3 weeks of Gora's death. Education in the widest sense continues to be a prime activity of the Atheist Centre. Education of women was particularly valued at the Working Women's Hostel chaired by Gora's third daughter Vidya. Nursing, bookbinding, tailoring, printing all gave women the potential for running their own lives. Counseling also took place at the Women's Centre by Maitri, the second of Gora's daughters specialized in counseling. She had a psychology degree. Counseling also continues at the hospital run by Dr. Samaram and Dr. Maru on the Atheist Centre site, birth control and sexual counseling for all, including homosexual individuals and couples. Samaram is renowned throughout the country for his books on sex education. The hospital is an important part of the Atheist Centre and deals mainly with poor patients. They are encouraged to abandon superstitious views of healing and have the courage to accept proper medical help. Another hospital in the rural area of Srikakulam undertook much orthopedic work for those who had suffered polio. It was visited by Princess Anne on behalf of the Save the Children Fund in 1985. It was written in the Atheist, "Control the government and construct the village." These themes of partyless democracy and rural development were enduring at the Atheist Centre, though as it moved towards the millennium perhaps reform became more prominent than politics. Earlier, Vidya had become an MP, not a partyless one. In 1985, the leader, Mrs. Gandhi, had amended the preamble of the Constitution to include the words secular and socialist. Vidya unsuccessfully introduced a bill in the Indian Parliament to bring about a casteless and religionless society. It is interesting that the Constitution, in the fundamental duties, included the aim of development of the scientific temper, humanism, spirit of inquiry, and reform. The Atheist Centre regularly holds scientific exhibitions with a focus on young problem in bringing about this aim. Andhra Pradesh is subject to storms, cyclones, and floods. A devastating cyclone hit the Atheist Centre in 1977. The dwellings were destroyed and the library seriously damaged. They were able to restore these, but at first they did much to help reparation in other parts of Andhra. It could be seen that atheists came to the fore to help in such disasters as much as those of religion. The rural social work at a couple of villages near Srikakulam was developed out of cyclone relief work. They supplied food, started education, and encouraged self-supporting trades such as weaving and fishermen's cooperatives. Social relief is much more popular than atheism, but in the case of Gora family, they went hand in hand. At an international conference on atheism and social change, it was said, Atheist Centre is very much involved in several social change activities like rural development, medical, social work, vocational training, counseling, promotion of intercaste and interreligious marriages, criminal reformation and rehabilitation, women's liberation, development of children, eradication of superstition, education, adult education, and promotion of secular values in all walks of life. Relief following environmental disasters became important, as was the development of preparedness or the readiness to deal with disasters. Concern with the environmental and climate problems facing the world has been crucial. I can remember years ago planting trees in a park in Vijayawada as a demonstration of practical methods to deal with the environment. Other important social reform has been criminal rehabilitation, freedom for the young temple priestess or yoginis treating the problem of sorcerers. This is carried out through Samskar, which means reform, an organization part of Atheist Centre, which is headed by Lavanam and his wife Hemalata Lavanam. Gora himself sums up the atheistic way of life, which has continued so fully at the Atheist Centre since his death and into the 21st century. The atheist way of life is full of initiative. It continually progresses towards increasing happiness every time through scientific understanding and technological controls of the forces of the world. Its objective is equality. Its method is openness. Its means is political action. Its driving force is the moral freedom of the individual. And here ends the article on Positive Atheism Comes Alive. And in our next episode, I shall lead out you regarding Gora's philosophy and ethics. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Samaram Channels, which crossed 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos. And for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.
Please download Samaram Channels app from Google Play Store and watch your favorite channels. Click the bell icon and subscribe to the channels.